is Wellness Wednesday. I am enjoying these videos so much, Ali. So for those of you who are new to Wellness Wednesday, first of all, welcome. I'm Wendy, you know this. This is Alexandra Dubyak. She is a certified nurse practitioner here at Advanced Integrative Medical 360. This is what we do every week, and I think it's really important because our doctor's offices are not doing this. They're not spending this time with us to answer questions that we have about all sorts of things. And you did a great special with me regarding birth control. Yeah. And it blew up all of these questions that you're not having answered in the 10 minutes that you see your OBGYN. She was able to go through every single thing, and your response has been amazing. Ali, you're going to be doing this now. This impacts so many people, high blood pressure. Yes. And I know that you folks at home have these questions. This is basically your gift to them, this knowledge that you have from years and years and years. Yes. Take it away, sister.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So the topic today is high blood pressure, which I'm pretty sure almost 100% of people have heard the term high blood pressure, which we like to call hypertension in the medical world. Same thing. So huge topic. We pass out a lot of drugs for this every single day in the regular medical world for high blood pressure. So huge topic to talk about. So high blood pressure. What is high blood pressure? I think to kind of understand what bad blood pressure is, you have to know what good blood pressure is. So the ACC, which is the American College of Cardiology, they have established that normal blood pressure is anything less than 120/80.
Okay.
So then it goes from there. So then it'll scale up. So they'll say you are considered to have elevated blood pressure if your systolic, which is your top number, is 120 to 129. And the bottom number, your diastolic number, is still less than 80. You're just considered to have elevated blood pressure.
Okay.
And kind of keep an eye on you. Then from there, it goes into phases. So you have like a stage 1 and a stage 2 hypertension, and there's different criteria for that. But it's not always black and white in terms of, hey, if your blood pressure gets to this, then guess what? You have to be on medication, because sometimes it could actually be a little bit lower than what that standard might be in general. And you have to look at people and say, okay, hey, what's their 10-year cardiovascular disease risk? Are they a diabetic? Have they had coronary artery disease?
Got it.
Have they had a stroke? So it's not
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
It's not cut and dry in terms of how and when you start people on blood pressure medication, but there are guidelines to follow, and obviously clinical judgment plays a huge part in that.
Okay.
So for starters, I always like to start off with some facts about the things that I'm talking about. So I have heart disease and stroke listed up there at the very top, and you'll see a number 1 and a number 5 above each of them. So heart disease and stroke are 2 of the top 5 leading causes of death in the United States now. So why is that important? Because high blood pressure ties into those things, right? So heart disease is actually the number 1 leading cause of death in the United States, and heart disease is just kind of a broad category name for a lot of other things. Cardiomyopathy, coronary artery disease, vascular disease, arrhythmias, right? So there's a lot of things that go into that, but high blood pressure affects all of those things. And then stroke. Obviously, high blood pressure affects that. It's the 5th leading cause of death in the United States today. So both of those are big deals. And you obviously, if you have a risk for heart disease, you're at risk for stroke and vice versa. So they're very closely tied together as well. Other statistics that I have up there. So the World Health Organization, which is WHO, they estimate that roughly 1.28 billion adults between the ages of 30 and 79 worldwide have high blood pressure, which is like an astronomical number.
That's crazy. There are 7.8 billion people on planet Earth. Take out all the kids, and you're like 1 in 3 maybe, right? Have high blood pressure in that age group.
They
That's
estimate that
crazy.
Like, almost half of them probably don't even know that they have it.
What? Holy cow.
1 in 5 people, they estimate, actually have their high blood pressure under control, which is not, those are not good odds.
No, not at all.
And high blood pressure, it's just well known that it's a major cause for premature death because it contributes to all these other things.
Right.
Heart disease, stroke, you know, and even cancer and those other leading causes of death. It ties into those things. So the next part of that is you always want to kind of consider when you're talking about high blood pressure, the really important things at baseline. What are your modifiable risk factors versus what are your non-modifiable risk factors?
So what can I change?
What can you change about yourself
Right.
that will affect your blood pressure, okay? Unhealthy diet, right? People who just eat poorly, they consume a ton of sodium, and when you consider, I think the ACC says like they want people to be eating like 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day. I mean, there are cans of soup that have 1,000 milligrams of soup in them. So people don't know that though. Nobody talks to them about that. physical inactivity, being overweight or obese, tobacco use, alcohol use, drug use, caffeine use. I mean, these are all things that you can change about yourself that will help improve your blood pressure. So then non-modifiable risk factors. These are the things you cannot change about yourself no matter how badly you want to change your age or you want to change your family, genetics, you can't do that. But they're things you can't change, but they are considered as part of your risk. Genetics, gender, race, I mean, but so right off the bat, I always like to say, so if you look at this, which list of things is longer?
Yes.
Right?
Things that we can fix.
Can change.
Yes.
The list is longer than the things that you can't change
Right.
about yourself. So just kind of like to point that out to you. And it's not easy to change things about yourself. We know that. But if you...
But you can.
You can.
You can.
You can.
Which is huge in medicine.
I can't tell you how many times people come into this practice and they tell me, hey, I've been on blood pressure medication for years and I don't want to be on it. But nobody will help me figure out how to come off of it. Nobody will help me. They just say you have to lose weight and you have to eat healthier. We have no idea what that means. They don't know how to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, they would have, because there are so many people that don't want to be on these medications. Clearly, they want to change something. They just don't know how. So,
Amen.
Treatment options. Obviously, medication. We know. We in the primary care world, you know, the regular medicine world, we tend to gravitate towards medication, right? We don't say like, oh, hey, you're 100 pounds overweight, or, you know, we don't.
How about a sit up and a salad, and then maybe we
Yes.
won't be on this.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. And these are all different categories of blood pressure medications that you can be on. And this is not limited to this list, but these are all pretty popular ones. And my biggest problem with medications is the side effects, right? So if you come in and I say, hey, Wendy, guess what? Your blood pressure's been really high the last 3 times that you came in to see me. Like, we got to start you on something, right? Thiazide diuretics, first line class of drugs that you use for high blood pressure, typically. You have to automatically tell them right off the bat, hey, you're probably going to be running to the restroom a couple more times a day to pee because of how that medication works. So you're going to be in the restroom more. You're going to be waking up in the middle of the night. So ACE inhibitors, hey, you got to watch out. This can cause a chronic cough, so then we'd have to take you off of it and put you on something else. Beta blockers, young people typically a lot of times do not tolerate beta blockers. Beta blockers make younger people very tired. Like so fatigued to the point where they feel like, oh my gosh, I just cannot function throughout the day.
Yeah, who wants that?
And lightheaded dizziness, because sometimes along with helping the blood pressure, it lowers your heart rate a little bit too much, so it makes people lightheaded and dizzy. Calcium channel blockers. I've had people come in, oh my gosh, my ankles, I started on this medicine like 3 weeks ago, my ankles and my feet are swollen. It's the calcium channel blocker. You got to put them on something else. So, I mean, and those are just like
this is like a puzzle.
things,
You're like putting together a puzzle and moving pieces around to solve what the problem is.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people feel bleak when they hear about high blood pressure because they think that they fundamentally have to change everything about their lives.
Sure.
One of the things I like about Advanced Integrative Medical 360 is you guys create a path. And the path involves education, but it also involves diet. And the testimonials that we had on last week, oh my goodness.
Yes.
They're saying we had so much we could eat, and we had a couple people who lost 100 pounds. So don't feel bleak.
Yes.
Like that's one of the worst feelings I think people can have, that they're going to have to fundamentally give up everything they like to do. And that's not what you guys are all about.
And they don't have to. We give them something sustainable, something that they can do, because diet is the biggest thing. People have a hard time changing their diet, and it literally contributes to almost every disease process you can think of.
Right.
And that's hard. But we have so many resources in place to help these people and to educate them and coach them through that so that they know what to do moving forward. And they're going to be successful.
Have you been able to get somebody off of their medication?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is that what that's the whole point?
Yes, people that don't want to be on it. And I say, hey, you have to, you know, as you lose this weight, as these other things start to change, you know, be cautious. If you're getting lightheaded or dizzy or you're feeling really tired, check your blood pressure, because there's a good chance you're either going to need less of it or you're going to come off of it eventually. And we've had so many people come in for their 60-day follow-ups and say, oh my gosh, my primary care, my cardiologist were really happy. My blood pressure was so good. They cut it in half. Oh, my blood pressure was so good. They said, hey, you just can stop taking it. Let's keep an eye on it. Yeah.
So it's the attention that you get here that I love. It's that one-on-one. And that's why I come here every week and do these videos, because it's important for you to know this. There is a place that actually cares, that wants to spend time with you. And it's called Advanced Integrative Medical 360. And it's super easy to get in touch with him. It costs you nothing to make your consultation. Sit down with Dr. Dubyak, sit down with Ali, have a conversation. It's the first step. 412-227-9255, 412-227-9255, integrativemedical360.com. What did I forget?
You always do great.
I just love your BS board because it's so much more, I think it's so much more uplifting than mine, because you have ways to fix the problems. And that's what AIM 360 does. Ali, thank you so much. Until next time, everybody, have a great one. We'll see you next time.